Okay, so Dan asked me to talk about the next big thing in gaming. So you might think it's mobile. No, it's not mobile. It's not casual games, not MMOs. Wait, casual MMOs. No. Not casual MMOs. There's no such thing. Next generation technology. No. Alternate controllers. We're dabbling with a lot of that right now. Nope. So really, to understand what's coming next, you really have to understand what's happening right now. And what we're seeing is a fundamental shift in the way that games are being developed. We're seeing people switch from sort of the traditional model, which was to design a project, spec it all out, then code it all, and then try to ship it, which was just a horrible, horrible model, to more rapid prototyping-based model. We've seen a lot of community involvement in the games. It's all about community design now as much as anything else. And then the real thing I want to talk about is the blue ocean strategy within the game industry, which is sort of more of a business type thing. So over the last generations of technology, the team size is sort of growing exponentially. What used to be something that one or two people could do is now something that takes 70, 80, sometimes 150 people to do. As you add more people to a team, it actually gets dumber. Basically, you just keep adding people and you spend all your time dealing with communication issues and not actually getting anything done. So what kind of people have realized is that what you really want to do is send a small crack team in and figure out everything. They basically go through this process, you ask a question, you just prototype it, skip the design docs altogether, write up what you need, that's it. Prototype the quickest possible, crappiest code version of it you can, then evaluate it to see if that's what you really want before you make it real. And so the goal is sort of get to what EA calls the vertical slice. The idea is you just take a slice of cake roll, you know what the rest of the cake roll looks like. So you build the minimal set that gets you to your desired result, that tells you what your game is. And then you send in the doozers to build the rest of it. Right? And so, meanwhile, our concept of what a video game is really evolving. We're starting to see a much wider sort of net for what a video game is. This is Brain Age by Nintendo. Flickr was actually originally going to be an MMP, and it turned into sort of a web-based photo community. MySpace is really just Pokemon, but with bands and friends, and actually including bands in there was one of the chief things that I think pulled MySpace above the others, because they brought in existing communities. And so these are really the real casual MMOs that people talk about. People talk about, oh, I'm going to make a casual MMO, and I'm going to sell items and charge $10 a month. Well, as soon as you do that, you're not casual anymore. To me, these are what the real casual MMOs are. And then the real thing I want to get to is what's going on in the business front with the idea of blue ocean, which is sort of a common business thing now about how to innovate in a space. And we've seen Nintendo really using this strategy very, very well. So our cost really isn't just based on technology. We seem to think that the team size is growing because graphics are getting better. Well, that's true. There's sort of this escalation that happens whenever you have a genre. The first version of a genre of a game is very, very simple. It usually can be developed with a very small team. And then basically people enter that market and it gets more and more complex. And so as we complexify things, what happens is that the more mature a genre gets, the more complex it gets, and therefore the lower the accessibility to new users. And so eventually a hardcore genre, like first-person shooters, is completely inaccessible to the average person. So basically, to please your fans, you end up alienating a larger market. And so genres have these life cycles where they sort of come into birth and they grow very quickly into a mature form, and then they decline. And the funny thing about this is that the number of companies coming in is usually highest when the actual genre is sort of already peaked, right? So now you have more and more competitors fighting for an ever more niche space, rather than going out and finding something interesting to do. That's something new where they can totally own the space early. So if you look at something like Guitar Hero, which is really derived from Guitar Freaks, it's made very, very small number of developers. I think we had about 15 people on the project, some of them only part-time. It's done extremely well, and we ramped it up to